our parents and us, they kind of all pushed us to go into the academic route and so on. But we went to study jobs is not going to be around in 10 years time. Like, it's, you know what I mean? Like, things haven't evolved. So that whole sort of thesis that degree is going to guarantee you, it doesn't, it's a lie.
Welcome to the GenC podcast. I am one of your hosts, JP Jackson. To my far right is Mr. Face, Rizan Rose.
Heads and shoulders.
Knees and toes.
It's my daughter's favorite song.
How are you doing, Rizan?
I mean, we started off before we started pressing play. There was a vibe that was set. But before we get into the vibes, we actually have a very special guest today. Someone who is considered a private citizen, if you will, but with great achievements. We have Dr. Chad Marthinussen. Welcome.
Thank you, guys.
What an
Thank you so
intro!
much. Yo, that was like you made me feel very, thank you guys. I feel very welcome. No, I feel very welcome. This was one of the nicest welcomes, even before the thing went on. It was proper.
I think just to close the loop there. So we were having a discussion on the facial hair.
Oh my God.
And how the importance it has what an important feature it is of this podcast.
Just say it's like makeup for men. You can just say it like that.
And my esteemed colleague Rizan was having some difficulty communicating his views on the makeup.
To the audio listeners, you see how they're doing your boy.
But we need it more because, like I said, we don't have the face.
We don't
card.
have the face.
You have at least got a face card.
I need to hide 2 chins, bro.
Now you're there. You see.
Okay.
Shout out loud.
You see. That's what I was actually saying.
Nah,
So you got it spot on.
No way, bro. He's got the cheekbones.
You got the face.
Here they going in on you now.
No. So what is nice is that I do have a girlfriend.
Brilliant.
And
Good
it's
start.
still going. So there's evidence to back your claims. Someone does like me back. The views expressed are being listened to.
That's good. So Chad,
Yes,
let's go a bit back.
Yes.
So you went to Boys High, right?
Yes, I went to Paul Boys. Very
So
traditional.
You never wore long pants
Not
throughout your
once.
school? Shorts?
I think I wore it once to like the prize giving or something. When I was forced to.
When you were forced to.
But other than that, I was short pants 24/7, 365. Because we had the long socks and the whole thing.
Oh, so it was only the knees that were getting
The
cold.
knees were open and so on. Yeah, but it was a thing. Like I mean, it was like I just couldn't see myself wearing long pants. Like we used to play touches at break, and like also I was a bit dick. So like the pants style was also more flexible. So I could wear the shorts were a little bit more comfy. And I liked how it looked. I just thought the clothes used to hide knives in the long pants. I'm joking.
The views expressed on the
But is he wrong?
We don't know.
Like and subscribe for more.
No, I'm joking.
I have to just quickly address the fact that listen, JP Jackson, we have an audience of subscribers that didn't grow up in this rugby fraternity.
Oh, sorry.
You don't just get to drop, you went to boys. You went to my full name. That's how you learn abbreviation.
Boys.
There we go.
Boys, please.
High school. Like, don't do that to me. Because I was like, you went to boys. I'm like, where's that? Do they sell furniture?
No, it was an interesting one. Like at school, like I grew up in Paul, so like all my friends were from Paul, obviously, very small town. But my parents had like a group of best friends, and then I became friends with their kids like since I was born. Like I literally got friends who are like they're my cousins, but they're not really my cousins. And but like I don't have a memory back without them like there. And we still friends, we still got a WhatsApp group, we still kind of keep things. I actually really laughed. My brother actually is in the UK now. He's like, yo, if you're going on there, they're funny, bro. Like,
You're from the UK.
so he was like, because he's like one of my friends. He's like, he loves like old colored music. He's a lawyer in the UK now, so he's like, you
Jonathan
never say
Butler.
when you see him, like that's how he is, but he's like super colored, but in a good way. Like he appreciates the good stuff. So Paul Boys was like I was there since primary school, so I was quite a smart kid. Like I was reading at 2.
You were smart, Chad. It's okay.
I was. My parents really put a lot of effort into raising me. I'm doing the same with my daughter, but I was reading at 2. I was dead by 2 already. I passed away. I was declared dead. So it was actually like my parents struggled to have kids, and then my mom had like 5 or 6 miscarriages. And then eventually they went for the IVF and all this stuff. And so I was what they used to call in sort of the colored communities like a gift baby. Like it was a thing. So my parents really wanted me, so I'm very grateful for that. Eventually they started with a private sort of doctor and they did all these IVFs and failed. And then eventually they ended up going to Tygerberg to the professor there, I can't remember, he was Van der Merwe or something. And then it worked, right? And so you can imagine they went through all this to get me. This was like 94 days, like 93, 94. And my dad was actually at the time, I'll never forget, like I was born. And then very soon after I was born, I got very sick, like very, very sick. I was admitted to the hospital. I had a pyloric stenosis, which is basically like the little muscle from your esophagus into your stomach. Mine wouldn't open. So mine was like closed. So I wasn't gaining weight and I was vomiting, all this stuff. And then they took me through and they figured out what it was, operated. Then I had an allergic reaction to the anesthetic, according to my parents. You know, I wasn't there. Well, I was. So then there's a story, I don't know how true it is, but in medical in Nepal, so my dad, back in the day, before Mandela was president, he used to do rallies with him. So he used to do like, he used to introduce him he was a leading speaker, introducing him in certain parts of Cape Town, Atlantis and all these things. So there was a picture of my pops with Mandela, man. So what they did was, I don't know, my father. This is how my dad connection. But it was like a far connection. But so he put the picture in my room where I was in medical clinic in Paul. Or at the hospital, I don't say the name. But in the hospital in Paul. Put it there. Then all this stuff happened. And then the nurses were like, Julle, die kan nie doodgaan nie. Is Mandela. Sy pakkie vir my. So they were like watching. You're like, nothing can happen. You're gonna come back to the hospital. If something happens to this boy, they're gonna respectfully. So this happened. And so the thing is, this is my dad's story when he's telling the truth about you know, it's so good. Either or, neither nor. So the thing is there. So now, like, as it would happen, I do get sick. Like, I literally got sick, and then I had this allergic reaction thing. And now that I'm a doctor, I know what happened. But now, back then, obviously, I didn't know. So then, something is very rare. Like, it's super, super rare. And there was a specific antidote for it that's incredibly expensive, right? And there's very little of it around. So they were saying no, but they didn't want to give it to me because my parents, they said you couldn't afford it. So according to my dad's story, again,
Mandela.
I don't know how true this is, but he apparently came and he like the doctor and he was like, you better get this for my son and all this stuff. And then they got it for me. And then I recovered but in that moment, I was declared, I was gone. Like my heart stopped, they resuscitated me, the whole thing. So then, you know, it was hectic for me because when I eventually got into medicine, part of the reason I left clinical medicine was because I had like a kid pass away, like not under my care, but and it really hit me, like to the point where I was like,
but let's not get away from this.
So with Paul Boys, like that whole journey, like even going to the school and everything, guys, like there's a lot about that place, like good, bad, ugly. You know, with me, like what I learned to do was just play the game, which is like a skill I've learned throughout life. Like you play what's in front of you. You kind of subscribe in a way to what's going to get you the best out of the scenario or the place you are. So I knew with the school, and I don't want to like badmouth the school, but like there were elements, you know, that were present for sure, especially for people of color. I actually saw someone talk about it the other day. They were like, yeah, it's like a cult, like private schools are like a cult and so. And yes, I know, and it kind of extends all the way through to varsity and hostels and things. There's an element of it, but ultimately there's a culture and there's a way things work, and it's very similar to the world. I guess you kind of it's a little micro universe. So yeah, I enjoyed it. I was I excelled at school. I did well.
But I think that's a very important skill
because you need to learn it.
And I think it's also covered with so much success. Like everything that comes out of there is seen to be of a certain standard. But anybody who's been part of any sort of institution knows that there are always backdoors. There's always things that happen. Yeah. Which you at that point need to decide. Yeah. Which step are you going to take?
No, exactly. Like you literally, it's in front of you and you decide. Yeah. And sometimes it's not always, like my father always used to tell me, like, you're not enough of an activist. He always used to tell me that. And he's not wrong. Like there were times where I should have been maybe more of an activist, like with regards to what I was seeing and what I.
So interesting.
But I made the call because I said, I'm activism from where? Who am I? What? I don't have much. Like, who's gonna believe me? So when I went to school, like, I was like vice head boy at the primary school, and then I went into the high school. And I don't know, there's just this thing, it's like a culture at boys. Like most of my friends were other than my very close friends from home, like my parents' kids, all my other friends were like white. So I think I saw the different realities. Like where I grew up, we played touches. Like Grant Williams used to play touches with us, like back in the day. Like
casual name down.
Yeah, I didn't know him. Like I didn't know him. I don't know. But I just remember there was like a Calfoot lighty, and he was very fast. So we used to play in the streets and stuff. Like at the one part I saw, and like my parents were settled both in education. Like I grew up very like in an amazing household. Like really, we weren't rich, but we didn't struggle. It was stable, safe. Both my parents were very dedicated, hardworking. So that was my little bubble within a not so nice community. Like I still saw like the tuck house around the corner, or like I sat on the corners. I did that stuff. My mom don't believe it. Like my mom has a version of me when I'm just like, sometimes I speak to her. You know what I mean? Exactly. That's I'm like, but mom, that didn't happen. She's like, no, I don't remember that. And I'm like, yeah, but I definitely did do that. I didn't do that.
When she was praying for you, like there was like an angel that was following you.
And that's all she's. That
was propaganda.
Giving her the notes. This is what Chad is doing. This, and I mean, like for the most part, like I was like a responsible kid. Like I really, like I genuinely, like I mean, my parents raised me in such a way where it wasn't authoritarian. It was more give me space, like freedom. Yeah. But I always encouraged me to make the most correct decision as best as I could.
There were checks in place.
Yeah. And I used to. My father's a principal, so he's an amazing dad. So he's got this the skill that he had with me growing up, where he molded me, but he kind of let me mold myself. You know, like he would literally give me an opportunity or let me do something and then check if I did the right thing or not. Cool. Yeah. And there are pros and cons, but like for the most part. So with like school and like boys, I got to high school, and obviously rugby and stuff's like a big thing. Yeah. And me being quite a big boy, like I was quite big. I played rugby at school. I was in the A team in primary school and all the stuff. So there was also like an expectation to play rugby and stuff. So I said, it's fine. Like I played. But to be honest, like I was a lot more interested in leadership and sort of cultural stuff. Like I started the drum line at the school, which was dope. That was awesome. Still running to this day. I played in the school. I was the youngest in the school band. I played drums for school band, like through. And I played rugby, but it was just like, yes, man. I didn't really take it too seriously because I realized like, I'm not going to play for the Springboks.
And that's a good realization.
Yeah, like I knew, like when I got there, I was like, bro, that's not my ambition. Yeah. Like I had other ambitions. So I kind of pushed through like high school from grade 8 already. Like I positioned myself within certain roles that in the context of that organization or that school or whatever would kind of give you some, you know what I mean? So that was like leadership roles. It was, student council, all those types of things. And academics was a big part of that. So I really wanted to be like in the top 10 academically. Yeah. And I was also pretty social because I was bitchy chubs, didn't have a face card and so on. So I had to learn how to speak to people. Yeah. and what also kind of helped was I grew up as the only child. So with everything that happened with my parents, like I was the only child and my parents would be always working, like worked a lot. And no one spoke on behalf of me.
Okay.
I was always like, it was me. Like I would go out with my friends' parents or go on holiday with them. And then I'm just there with some money in my wallet and I'm there with them. So I'm making friends, I'm networking, I'm doing this thing. That was just me. And it really kind of shone through later because that became like a cornerstone of what building. You know?
Yeah.
Can I ask you, because you speak quite freely of the different things that you've achieved and the things that you've participated in. Was there ever like any pressure?
Yeah, like I actually spoke to my mom and dad about it. Like not my dad and I spoke about it like properly. But because I actually said to my pops, I said, because you see with my dad, like we've become, I am where I am now because my dad kind of backed me and gave me the freedom to not just stick on a path. Like he really did. Like he supported me like right in the beginning when I decided I wanted to like excel in the first place, like excel at things. And then also when I made the decision, career-wise. So on the pressure side, like I think yes and no, because there was always this thing, like I would get like 90% for an exam. And then it'd be like, where's the other 10?
Actually,
like for real.
Oof.
So I think what was the precedent was kind of set.
Dad.
I think the precedent was sort of set, like there's like a base expectation, like, but that's expected. Like it's not like I never got rewarded for.
My dad used to hit me with but you usually get 95. Like it wasn't like there was a 10%. Like with your own.
That would mess with me, bro.
No, but it does. Like obviously, as you grow up as an adult, like there is like an element. You can call it my trauma, I guess. Like, where because like if I look at medicine, like
one's adjusted. Call it trauma.
Kind of. Yeah. So like with medicine, I think most professional degrees like. It disincentivizes failing, right? So like you can't fail. If you fail, you lose. You can't
lose a year.
You lose a year. Lose your birth. You can't fail an exam. Blah blah blah. Whereas life and entrepreneurship and stuff, it kind of needs you to fail. So like if that framework, that framework sort of sticks in your head.
Guys, lock in.
So when you have that framework, it takes a bit of kind of unlearning. Going through that. But I actually told my pops, like, I appreciate the way he did things with me because he never like applied pressure.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I think just because the way he lived and the way he kind of was, I just kind of wouldn't say I took on pressure, but I just kind of said, this is the level I need to be at.
And I think I can relate to that, especially from my, like I mentioned, my dad regulated in a way that made it seem like I was only ever competing with myself.
Wow.
And he made it seem as if the level that I set for myself was at a certain place. And if I didn't achieve that, he made it seem like I didn't. It's on me.
Which is perfect. I mean...
And I think now, like you say, I look back at it and be like, he never said I must be like my brother or I must be like this person. He always just compared me to me. But in a version that I just didn't see at the time.
Yes. Yeah.
And I think that's sort of an amazing thing about that parenting switch is that you get to see that. And
when you become a parent, you also kind of realize what was, my dad always used to tell me like the fundamentals. I was like, what is fun? And now like my whole life is literally like making sure you do the fundamentals.
Yeah.
Like it's actually insane.
Yeah.
But so there was a pressure. It was, I applied a lot of pressure to myself.
Yeah.
In the sense that if I said I wanted to kind of do something, there was always like an element of maybe like narcissism, selfishness in a way, because you want to do it for you, I guess. But then there's also an element of, but actually, like, I'm a person of color. I want to do it for a little bit beyond me. So like now my work is not about me. Like everything I do now, like whatever I build, whatever, it's not about me. Like I couldn't even care.
It's about something bigger.
I was speaking to my friend yesterday, one of my business partners in my security business. He's in the UK now, and his fiance, they're getting married. And his fiance, his family, his father's an amazing man, and you know, we were talking about it yesterday. Like he actually built a life and wealth and all these things for them. Actually, like he didn't do it to go and, you know, have cars and lifestyle. He genuinely did it for the family. Like, and I see it. And I said to like, there's very few men like that. So those are the sort of, and my pops are the same. I remember like there was a story like a few years ago. My dad, they were invited to somebody who was a principal. So thousands of kids had come through. So he was at this at this wedding, and he was sitting at the table with a bunch of students. And he didn't know why, because he thought he'd be at the. And then the groom actually, in his speech, sort of spoke directly to my dad. And all the students at the table stood up and thanked him for no, paying for student fees, getting them into varsity. No. I was like, now you see it from a legacy point of view, like that. I mean, that's something else. Like imagine you've got 10 students now with careers, lives, husbands, partners, whatever, sitting around you, and they're kind of thanking you in real time, like for stuff you did. And that's just how he was. So I saw that, and I really learned from a leadership point of view. I learned that from him. But the pressure is good, man. Yeah. Like I think if there's no pressure, then you're gonna. But
I think it's like you mentioned, it's important that you said you're the only child. Yeah. It seems like your dad was a father to many in terms of leadership.
Yeah.
And it's about those elements that I think, and a lot of what we do here is about that. It's about conveying a message from someone that you didn't know would be able to give you a message like that. And I think when we do draw cards like that, it's important that we do echo. And I do want to celebrate your father for that, because we have people in the community that does these things. Yeah. And people should know that you don't need to just get your lesson from your parents.
Correct, yeah.
You can learn from those in your community as well as your teachers and your principals.
And people around you. Like I learned from, my parents had a certain worldview, and then this is now growing up, when I didn't have my sort of autonomy, full autonomy, but I would learn from my friend who comes from a different culture's parents. Don't do that. Or maybe we're like, okay, that's cool. Like I definitely saw some stuff where I was like, your things look a certain way on surface, but then when you go deep, you're like, there's nothing really happening there. And I would do that, like genuinely across the board. Like it would be, everyone and anyone was a learning opportunity. Then when I was going on the thing with school, so I made a decision. So there was a lot of elements at that school, right? And good, bad, everything. But I recall as a person of color in sort of a leadership roles. Yeah. It was always just one. It was just me. So it was me with, you know, so that element of, I don't say pressure, but you kind of know you're the only one in the room to a degree. So you want to do things as, you know, to the best of your ability.
Yeah. Because you become the reference.
In a way. And unfortunately, like with our culture and stuff, there's obviously certain paths that people take and certain, I think, characters people decide to play, like because there's a lack of, get cancelled if you know what I'm saying, but like, I mean, there is a bit from an identity point of view, there is a bit of a challenge sometimes when it comes to, you know, being colored. Like, like there's certain versions of being colored I don't subscribe to. Yeah, that's just not.
Yeah, not who you are.
Even though I saw it, I loved it.
Listen. Get into it.
but there's certain sort of
safe space.
There's certain elements that I don't necessarily subscribe to. And
of course.
I mean, I grew up around it. I mean, with my dad also, like being in Atlanta, I was there a lot. I literally walked the street with these people. Like but for me, there was always just like, coloredness in a bucket.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I didn't always subscribe to it. So with me with school, it was an element of like paving a different way. So I really wanted to be the head boy of the school. That was like a goal. I wanted to be the first of color head boy. There's never been one, and that was in 150 years. It never happened. And it's many reasons, but I mean, demographically, it's unlikely, just because of the splits. And then when it comes to the voting, that also, bias away from people of color and stuff. So, and it's not on purpose. That's just how it is.
Yeah.
So I'm pushing, and I'm like, okay, I'm really gonna be the head boy. I'm pushing hard, and all the things kind of led up to me hopefully becoming the head boy. Got all the different roles and things, and then I didn't get it. And when it came to the voting, I was the only person of color of all the prefects and things that it was unlikely. And then when they voted, like, you got X amount of votes for head boy, X amount for vice head boy. I got this 0 vice head boy, second most for head. And I kind of lost out. Then in that moment, I said, I want to be the head boy. I want to be the top student. That was my decision. Like, I was like, flip, no one can take that away from me. If I work hard, put in my graft, get my marks. And I did. I pushed. I was the first top student at school, like colored.
Dukes.
Yeah,
Dukes.
yeah, colored.
Valedictorian.
Yeah, that one. So, and I pushed. And I really wanted to be it because I felt almost inspired to do that because, So, and it's actually very deep because it kind of transcends. There's a lot. It's a silly thing now. Like, if I think back, it's like a random.
It's
thing.
not silly. It's not silly at all.
Like my mom, I laugh about it now because it doesn't really matter.
You see, this is
Because it doesn't matter in the real world. That was going to ask you.
Just hold.
So, firstly, thank you for sharing. There's this new Superman movie that's out. No spoilies. But Lex Luthor is the main villain, right? Yeah. And he is driven by envy. And like it's classic, man. Like, it's classic envy. He's like,
it's real though.
Superman is just good looking superhero and everyone loves him
because of envy.
And Lex Luthor is just like a rich person, but nobody loves him. You know what I'm saying? And like, you kind of see this examples that both of them are successful, but like what you choose to do with that success. One became a supervillain, one became a superhero, right? And so you were confronted with a very ugly reality, and you turned it into something positive. And we are not gonna just wash away over that, because
the part that you don't see, right? Because you were the first one, what you then showed was that it was achievable. And by doing just that, you inspired more students that you would ever know.
And that was kind of the thing, like that was the idea. Like, and even like there was this award. It's so silly now. Like, genuinely, I'm laughing at it inside because at the time it meant everything.
Yeah.
Like, and now obviously there was work that went into it and everything, but it actually said so much because I remember there was a specific award that was awarded to the student with the most sort of well-rounded Christian-like leadership.
That's beautiful.
And historically, for 150 years, it was awarded to the head boy. And the difference was that this was something that was voted for by the whole school. And in my year, I won it.
See,
and not
look there.
Do you know what I mean? So it was an element of it was definitely like a, because that I didn't know what the thing was. I didn't even know that the thing existed.
Yeah.
And then
it was always in your life then. You just didn't see it.
Yeah. So that kind of was a big deal. So in retrospect now, and it kind of spoke to a lot of things that would come in my life, like going forward, where it met with a lot of challenges, but I guess, like you say,
the two of you are like the same person. I can't lie. No, so
I'm also good.
Yeah, like it's like I'm talking to JP 2.0 vibes.
And because you got beard.
Beard,
we don't have a face.
We don't have a face. Children, relationship with God.
Both got into medical school.
You know what I'm saying? Both got accepted. Yeah.
I just didn't. Yeah.
He chose the business route first. He's gonna become a doctor soon.
I think you did the right thing.
Yeah.
Wise
So
choice.
but that is naturally what you good.
Yeah.
You academically gifted.
Yeah.
My child, you was gonna study medicine.
Yeah, that's the options. Like, I mean, that's the options. Medicine, lawyer, accountant, everything. I had no reference points for what I wanted to do. Like my mom says to me, I was always entrepreneurial. But I was burning CDs. I was.
That's your limitation.
That was 15 years ago. LimeWire days.
Neuroburn.
Yeah. So, and I was always like doing stuff. Like I was in high school. I was like selling gym workouts, and so I was always like into it. And even in varsity, I ran multiple small little side things. Like I was DJing.
Okay, but wait. At the same time, did you need the money?
It's a good question.
Because that's also
it's
like
a good question.
I've always been poor. You know what I'm saying?
No, it's a good question. Like I think my parents, my dad and them didn't actually want me to work. So they wanted me to focus on getting my degree and stuff. So I mean my dad would support me and so on. But then I also just loved, and it's not like money was the focus. I just enjoyed creating stuff. Like I just enjoyed coming up with something that someone was willing to pay for, or like I don't know, just doing things differently, better.
Yeah. I always speak about that story, and sorry if I have repeated this before, but my dad always used to give us a bonus at the end of the year.
Yeah.
But the incentive was so that if I pass with a certain level, then he gives me a certain amount of money, but so that he doesn't have to pay another year of fees.
Okay.
So he did it like that, so that it looks like I'm achieving something, but
he
actually,
was actually saving
himself.
What a legend! Smart man. Yo, what does he do? Can you consult for me? Yo,
People are like,
no, that's smart.
you're not clocking. I'm standing on business. I'm a father. I'm a husband.
No, it's very smart. No, I don't know. I actually I don't think I mean my pops gave me some pocket money and stuff like in varsity. But then I just enjoyed it, man. Like I actually used some of the money, started some side stuff. We started
out of the game. I respect it.
Yeah, when we were at varsity, my roommate and I actually he works with me now. He's one of my lead doctors. We were roommates and we started like DJing at campus.
Yeah.
We used to throw parties and stuff. Throughout med school, like I did med school part time, bro. Respectfully, I don't know. I don't mean it like that.
No, listen.
No.
I'm gonna take it like that.
No, please, no. Med school was very hard. Med school was very hard.
Med school was very hard. Put some respect on my name.
No, I can.
Listen,
So
I'm
gonna do it.
You are probably never gonna come back again. But I'm gonna celebrate you. I'm just gonna like I'm flexing for you.
I meant that. Yeah, med school was hard. Like it wasn't easy, but I mean I approached med school very different. Like I took a different from early because I had no reference points for what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
So when I got into med school, I was like, make the right decision.
Yeah.
So like we used to we used to do the DJing. We loved it. Like your best memories. Then I couldn't even say this on the pod, but so there was so
I'll cut
We'll
it
just
out.
time
okay. So for context, so in med school, most of the med students used to use Ritalin for studies.
Yeah.
Oh damn.
Right?
Yeah.
And I hated it because it's such a bad drug. Like it's a stimulant.
Yeah.
It's really not good for you. It gets people dependent on it and so on.
100%.
And
But it's not just a med school. It's
but I'm saying in my
But like
Yeah.
a need.
for me, they were and what was happening was like friends of mine were getting addicted to it and they were getting sick from it because they were doing other stuff with it. And so me, I was like, they're gonna use something anyway.
Yeah.
And I actually had a supplements company at the time, a small one. With a friend of mine, we were doing like whey proteins and stuff. And I wanted to find an alternative to Ritalin. I was like, surely there's an alternative that's not a stimulant. So I found one. It's called modafinil. Amazing. It's like a peptide. And I rebranded it as Limitless. And I saw it. It was like NZT.
I did pharmaceutics part time.
But like for me, it was a case of like genuinely like the Oaks are gonna use it.
Yeah.
I just don't know if I should have commercialized it the way I did, but I did.
Yeah.
You were young, bro.
Yeah, like it was at campus, and it was like the students were buying, but it was safer for them. Like,
Yeah.
you know, like I don't know. So that's just how I rationalize it.
But it seems like you, every stage that you're going through, you're always trying to find
Always.
a gap, so
Always.
to speak, or
My
there's-
brain just works like that.
like this.
My brain works in problem solving and ecosystem. So that's just I try to find things that work together to create value. That's just how I look at things. Like
So and I think this is actually a good time to get to that point. Because now you're studying medicine, and you get to that point where you realize that clinical medicine is not for you. That's after 7 years of study.
no, it was before it.
Okay.
no, long before.
Okay,
long.
okay.
So I like I said, when I finished my degree and stuff, when I finished high school, I was a top student and I got got all these bursary opportunities. I didn't know what I wanted to do. I was in the top 10 in like the province or something for accounting, and like I think I got like 103% for accounting, something silly.
Yeah.
Right? And I really wanted to do accounting. Like I thought I'm gonna go into actuarial science or something like that.
You were JP, bro.
Yeah, like I literally thought that was my kind of plan. PwC offered me like a full scholarship with a job, blah blah. Anyway, so I applied for medicine. Again, I didn't know it was such a big deal.
Yeah.
I didn't know it was hard to get in. My parents being my parents, they left me to my own devices. My mom didn't fill in a single application form for me. She didn't do nux. Like I just did it on my own.
Yeah.
So I applied to all the things, and then I still remember like I got the application thing back. Congratulations, you made it. So Stellenbosch, UCT, and then Prof Janssen from Bloem. I actually spoke at something, and he offered me like full scholarship. Like just while we were talking. I was like, so I had all these offers, and then PwC had this offer, and there was a couple other offers, and I just got the paper, and I was like, okay, cool, I'm in. I felt like nothing. I didn't know what to feel. Like I just said, okay, I'm in. So I went to school the next day, and I spoke to I think at the time, my biology teacher, but I didn't like bio, but here we are. And then I asked her, I was like, man, what must I do? She's like, oh no, you got in. Then I realized like 20 guys from my school applied. And remember, mind you, all these Oaks are getting 90s so like across the board. We're all quite diverse people and things. And I realized I'm the only one who got in at Stellenbosch of everyone. And then they wanted to hit me with a race car. So I was like, but guys, also...
My marks is speaking for it.
Yeah, that's one. But I didn't realize how serious everybody was taking it.
Yeah.
I genuinely didn't know. And
it's a luxury.
it's crazy actually now that I think about it. Like, because that was like what they were pushing for.
Yeah.
And for me, it was just like, I didn't know that it was a thing. So anyway, I ended up choosing it because everyone said to me, like, if you get in, you must take it. And everything. So choose it, I chose Stellenbosch and we started. So I went to Res. I was at very cool Res there. Well, yeah. It was cool, and then I also ended up leaving, but because there was a very bad incident that I won't talk about on the pod. But that lifestyle, like if you think about it, like I came from Wild Boys, like a certain culture. You go to a Res where there's a diverse pool of people from everywhere. You get people from very wealthy backgrounds, normal. You get guys from Eastern Cape who've never seen a white person in their life. Like that's the right. That's how broad it is. But then you all kind of get mushed into this ecosystem where there's a set culture and everything, and now everyone might just kind of subscribe to it. Which you think about is actually crazy. Like how can you force someone like So in the beginning, when I got to med school, I was like all in the culture. Like, I loved it. Like I was first year rep, I was first year comm, I did all this stuff. And as the year went on, I was like, because then I realized like they started like ostracizing in a way certain groupings of people because they weren't participating. Right. So it's not because they don't want to, it's just not their cults, not what they know. So those are things that kind of revealed themselves to me over time. But with that first year, I remember, bro, I loved my roommates and stuff for the best. Like a lot of respect for them, we're good friends. But we sat down for our first exam, bro. And I'm like, yo, what am I doing here? Literally, as I'm looking at the questions, I'm like, yo, this is not where I need to be. Like that was in my first exam.
Wow.
So I stuck it out, obviously pushed through. In my third year, I remember, this is where the clinical thing comes in. I sat at my 21st. No? This was 2015, somewhere there. I can't remember. And I sat with my my dad, sorry, and I said, Dad, I don't want to do this anymore. And I sat and something came over me. I was like, if I stick this out, medicine has a very high barrier to entry. So very few people get in. Right? The industry is quite, people don't really want to get involved because they don't understand it. At the time, fintech and stuff was starting to pop up, like Bitcoin just popped up and all these things. And I was like, I think healthcare is like 10 years behind fintech. If I stick it out now, but I was 21 now, I literally remember sitting on my bed telling myself this. If I stick it out now for the next 10 years, I think healthcare will be where fintech is now in 10 or so years. Obviously not knowing Corona is coming and all this. But that was the day I made the decision. Like, I'm going to stick out medicine. And then I shifted my focus from, like, medicine is very theoretical, like disease focused. So I then started focusing on the systems thinking that medicine teaches us. So medicine takes you through, or healthcare in general, takes you through a process of making, you have to make the most correct decision. So there's never an absolute correct answer in medicine. There's a probability list, and then you choose the most correct one, and you got to live with your decision. So I then went into the rest of my degree focusing more on that, and that carried me through med school. And then I started looking at the healthcare system in an ecosystem sort of thing, and I should take some of the tools we learned and applied that to broader healthcare stuff and into business and everything. So like a lot of my work now is actually teaching doctors that as part of building my own sort of distribution businesses. I bring doctors into that. So that was when, but then I made that call and I finished. And then there was a moment, I think I said earlier before we, when there was a, I must tell you this random story first. Wait, this is funny. So ad break. No, it relates. So remember earlier was I said my parents struggled with the IVFs and stuff, right? So it's crazy. So they eventually ended up at Tigerberg where I studied. So my parents went there. My dad used to literally drive from work with his sample tree, give it, so on and so on.
Using the information. Using these. He studied sperm.
So
thanks for that.
So
nobody knows what it looks like.
You know the Oaks. Do you know at Varsity the Oaks used to sell that for the IVFs. It was booming. That's the one business I didn't do. I didn't do it. So wait a minute. So
sorry.
I'm in my second year. I'm getting a class on infertility. So I'm sitting there and I was like, Prof, whatever. I messaged my dad. I was like, Dad, what was the prof's name? Like who like made me? Like basically in the thing. And he tells us like Prof under something. I'm like, nah, man, can't be. I'm looking at this.
Ain't no way.
So after the class, I walked down. I'm like, Prof, I'm Chad, whatever. Were you doing like IVFs in like 93, 94? It's like, yeah. So I'm like, okay, I think you made me maybe. He looks at me, he's like, you? I said, yes, my parents were here. He's like, yeah, it could be. So I got a lecture from the bra. That literally did the thing.
Crazy.
And it was so funny. Like I could have been. I was like, yo, what are the odds?
Yeah.
Wow.
But anyway, sorry for the ad break.
It's such an inappropriate joke, but
Not tell it, please. The license.
Now it is Pinocchio meeting Geppetto.
Yo, okay, that's a bit.
You said I must make the joke.
Yo, he's getting back for the beat.
Yeah. He did audio though.
Yeah, it's because you don't have facial hair. Now he's getting upset. But what was I saying before?
Ad break is done.
Ad break is done, yeah. That was just a random anecdote I remembered.
So you were talking about the fact that like you had made the decision while you were studying.
Right. So then I finished my degree and stuff, and so mind you, in this time, so I met my wife in first year, right? She was from Cape Flats. I had never met anyone from the Cape Flats before. Remember, I grew up in a very... She's from Pontiff, I didn't even know where that was. Mm-hmm. And I remember I was standing in front of class one day and I just saw this girl sitting with a bunch of like girls with scarves. I was like, yo, who's that? Like, beautiful, like most beautiful girl I've ever seen. And before that, I only had interest in the melanin poor community. Like the melanin deficient community. So I was also a bit confused.
Wife like that, but
I was also a bit confused at the time, according to my dad. So he literally asked me why I'm confused. So I saw her, and then after class, I still remember it was still BBM at the time. And I walked straight up to her. She was sitting there, and I just walked up to her. I took her phone, put my pin in. Put my pin in, and I walked away. I walked away. She literally asked me, "Who are you?" So I said, here's my number.
Find out.
Because she knew who I was.
Like and subscribe.
No, I was the first year rep, and she knew I was really the first year. She knew who I was. So I was like, yo, who's this? Anyway, the day goes on and everything, you don't speak. The night, bro, I'm sitting in my room. Yeah, I get a phone call.
Oh, damn.
From her. And I was like, hello? And she's like, are you at campus or something? I'm like, yes. I was like, who's this? She's like, no, it's my wife. Yeah. And I'm my wife now. And I'm like, yes. She's like, I was like, oh, you actually phoned me? She's like, oh, so you did? Okay. She's like, no, I only phoned you because my phone died. So she phoned me from a Telkom walkie phone.
Tiki box.
She remembered my number. It's very smart. Yeah. So I liked it. So,
that's
but here's the funny part, man. Now I'm checking you, I'm in. I'm like, I'm in, guys. I'm in. So I go see her and stuff. She's waiting for whatever parents to fetch her stuff. And now I walk with you. Guys, I'm walking to the boom at the thing. Yeah. She introduces me to her father. Hi, Dad, this is Chad, the class rep. I'm thinking she's going to be like, yes, my friend. I'm just the class rep. I was like, in that moment, I was like, wow, did I just get played? And then she kept me on a lane for like a whole year. But it was so worth it, man. It's the best thing ever.
Because I was going to say, she probably contemplated whether or not she was going to actually go full throttle.
She didn't want to distract
you, bro.
She's not bold. She didn't want to. She literally said, "Go nuts, bro." She didn't want the distraction. That was what she said. So I was gonna be a distraction. Yeah. But anyway, so my wife was always like, with me through med school and everything. So we really we were together the whole of med school. Awesome. I think we had one or two like ad breaks. Yeah. And I proposed to her like in my final year, and then we got married in 2018. Yeah. So, or 19, sorry. So
18 is the year I got married. The similarities.
Crazy. Yeah. So I
have a dark skin best friend.
A melanin
Oh Lord! Sorry. We digress.
What was I saying? So you actually want the clinical? No, when I decided. So I had this whole systems thing, and I kind of went through it, and then when I started work, like after med school, I was not went to work. So I already went in with the ambition of starting my own thing, right? And I was gonna leave as soon as I could, and I wanted to learn as much about the system and as possible. So I went through that and I struggled, bro. Like I struggled with mental health. I really struggled. I attempted suicide in 2019. Like it was pretty hectic. Like it was close. Like my wife saved me. And it was a case of, like imagine you're like a supercar stuck in traffic. And a supercar must be on the track. Yeah. It must be speeding. It must be going. And if you're sitting in traffic, your clutch is going to get hot. The engine's going to overheat. That's what was happening to me in medicine. Because in clinical medicine, there's not much opportunity to do certain things. Like for me, I had certain natural gifts that God gave me, and I couldn't use it in medicine.
Yeah.
So I used to create scenarios, bro, where I'm selling. Like I would, if I'm in a EC department or something, and I had to refer a patient to another department, I would make it like a sales pitch. Like I had to package this patient, and it would be like a tick list for me. Like, and I was more interested in stuff other than just the clinical. So I actually had a sort of what happened was there was a kid that came in, and under my care, not really under my care, but I was part of the care team, and this kid passed away. Like it knocked me like completely. And then in that moment, I went through this sort of depressive period. And I remember it was in May, and we were going to get married that month or so. My wife was like, what's happening? Like, it was nothing to do with her. Like, I just wasn't, I wasn't there. And I was struggling, and I never spoke to anyone. No one knew. I didn't even know. Like, I was just like, no, man, what's this? Carry on. And in that moment, I remember my wife actually said to me, not medicine, not go see doctor. We're going to go see our pastor at the time. Still our pastor. So we go, and this is when the decision happened. So he interceded for me in real time. Like, I was sitting there like catatonic. I wasn't even like moving. And he says to me, he puts me like almost like in court, and he says, you are in court. Jesus is your lawyer. God is a judge, and the thing that's causing you the pain is there. So he says, close your eyes. I say, I close my eyes. And mind you guys, when I say I was literally like my head was down. I couldn't speak. I was not me. And then he says, do you see like Jesus on the cross? And I say, I see him, but I can't reach. He says, okay. He's come back. He says, close your eyes. I close my eyes. He says, think of the thing that's causing you the pain. And I see this big brown building. And the hospital I worked in at the time was a big brown building. And he says, do you see it? I say, yes. He says, turn around and walk away. And my pastor saying this to me. Yo, guys, I turn around in my vision and I walk away. And as I'm walking, I'm getting lighter and lighter and lighter. Jesus appears next to me. He takes my hand. In the intercession, he takes my hand. He says, walk with me, my son. That's all I see. I just see, and walk with me, my son. And he walks with me, and I see people following me, like young people. And we walk, and he says, do you see a light? And I see a light, and he says, walk towards it. I'm walking, and as I'm walking, I'm getting lighter and lighter and lighter. And the Lord is literally like getting closer and closer to me. And then I see myself in a big, big black building in front of me, in a boardroom with young people at the bottom. Like they're doing coding, and they're doing all this crazy stuff. And I'm so light, and I come back, I'm like, that's where I need to go. And in that moment was the moment. I was like, I need to focus on entrepreneurship full time.
Yeah, that is.
And I made the switch, and I came back. We were in the intercession, and then my pastor says to me, do you see Lord on the cross? I say, yes. I say, I can reach out and I can touch him. So now when I close my eyes, all I see is Jesus on the cross. I see nothing else. Like, that's the first thing I see. In the split second I close my eyes. That's what I see. So make the decision, leave medicine. I get a job for next year. I turn it down. I move back home with my parents. we got married, moved back home, start from scratch.
Yeah.
And my parents welcomed me home. My mom struggled a bit. She was like,
yeah.
To her, I think 3-4 years on, she was still telling people I was a doctor. But then 3 years later, he's my partner now in my holding business. His name's Marlon Parker. He runs a company called R Labs. He was actually GQ Businessman of the Year last year. Legend. Guys, you won't believe it. That exact building that I saw in my vision is now the head office of R Labs in Mitchell's Plain. And they only built it in 2022. So when I got invited to the opening, he didn't tell me that it wasn't even a thing in 2019. Guys, I walked in that building and I literally started crying. I was like, yo, Lord, thank you.
Yeah.
And then it's exactly like the vision. Black, young people at the bottom, etc. And then as things evolve in life and in business, like the Lord often, like God will often put you in situations where you don't understand why it's hard.
Yeah.
Like why, and this happened now, like the point where you must surrender. You surrender things.
Yeah.
And people remove, people come, and you just have to surrender that you can't trust people. You must trust God. So Marlon, you've become a very big part of my life, sort of stepped in such a big way into my life that God actually said to me, you see, like me as an entrepreneur, sometimes you always, like certain people, from a networking point of view, like you operate with a millionaire guy with the money, with the contacts and so on. That's what you want. But then God also puts people in your life that you sometimes don't realize why they're that important or who they are. So God actually made it so clear to me. He said, honor the people I put in your life and not the ones you choose.
Wow.
Yeah. Then I shifted on honoring my mother, my father, people like Marlon. Like in that on the superficial level, I couldn't understand why it was so important to me. And then I realized, as things were going, like this guy is actually, he's got more influence and impact on my life from on earth and eternity than anyone else, you know, so in the business space. So that was when I made the call. So I started my business in my internship and then, kind of rolled out of it straight into being a full-time entrepreneur.
So let's talk about that fintech gap, because I think a lot of when people hear fintech,
that was a bit hectic, eh?
When people hear
That was a bit
fintech,
hectic,
they go Silicon Valley. They go that's America's, that's Meta, that's Fit, that's Meta, that's Facebook.
Can I tell you a joke about can I tell you something quickly? Wait, I must tell you this. Wait, can I tell you something? You're talking about Fit and Facebook. So, wait, I have to tell you. So
another ad break.
So my daughter, she's so special. So my daughter, she's 3 now. So my wife and I,
my son is 2.5.
She just turned 3 now. So in May. So we very like, now we're the same.
Best friends.
So we very like intentional with our daughter. So I was introduced to this very successful hedge fund guy a few years ago, and he changed my perspective on raising kids. Where he said, he doesn't believe that any kid is sort of special talent-wise. He believes it's a product of time and work and
nurture
and nurturing and input and stuff. Yes, there are elements, I'm sure. Yeah, people are smart and so on, but so his whole perspective was that he's got 6 kids. They're all at Ivy League schools. They play, top flight tennis in the US levels. So he was actually saying to me, he's like, if you have the resources, like put the resources into your child. Like don't just. It's not like a extra thing. Like prioritize it. So my wife and I, because we both work and we work very hard, like we're not fully there all the time. So we put in as much resources around as possible to be sort of an extension of us, because we very intentional. They're like au pairs and all these things. So like living au pairs and stuff. So the one day, so we very open when it comes to things like speaking to her like properly. So she will say to you, if you ask my daughter, where is the baby? She's this been since she was 2. So where's the baby? She'll say in the uterus. She fully understands it. Or she will say a boy has a penis and a girl has a vagina. So the one day, she's now at like this small, like little private play school thing. And the teacher puts in the report, he says they were doing sounds, like phonics and stuff. So they were doing and she was going like, they're saying sounds, and she's like enthusiasm. Then they were doing So my daughter's like, they say words like feather and whatever. My daughter says vagina. But the teacher puts it in the report, but in a laughy way, like in a jokey way. She literally says vagina. So I was like, I said to my wife, I was like,
that made your teacher that. Your daughter teacher.
She's like, literally, this is my favorite child. Easily. She loves her. So like, I was talking about the thing I had to say, because like literally that like is.
So let's talk about that innovation, bringing that to that solution to doctors, because my wife's a doctor, and she's in clinical medicine, and I think whenever the doctor gets to the point of should I start my own thing, and that sort of gap, then they don't have they get blocked by the business aspect, because now you're not a big doctor. You have to think about all the other moving parts in the ecosystem. And the second biggest thing is the insurance, because when things go wrong, there's this huge cost associated with it. And obviously you have a solution that
like I guess look, my heart has always been for the doctor, because I was very aware going through med school that there were big time limitations because, like your wife, she was a very broad person, you know, broad mindset, did a lot of stuff. I'm sure before med school,
Yes,
music, art, sport,
sports stuff,
alles, because you have to get in. And then when you get in, it's like a sausage machine, right? So then it literally forces you to be a certain way, and it's by design. But I think professional degrees in general are like that.
Yeah,
because if you're disempowered, you're like another cog in the wheel. You're a worker bee.
Yeah,
you kind of go into that.
Yes,
and I think it's all. I think all professions are like it's like I think degrees are like a crutch. Like it's really like a crutch because if it stops the person, I think. I'm busy writing a book now called Tunnel Vision, which is specifically about that because I feel anyone that goes down a path, that becomes the path. And then they get blinkers. And then so when ultimately you have so much value, actually.
Yes.
Like you've gone through that, you know, it was school or degrees. It's supposed to teach you to, if I'm an employer, like if I look at a degree, it's like, okay, you managed to complete something. That's kind of all it, you know, and that's unfortunate because I think for our generation, if you look at our parents and us, they kind of all pushed us to go into the academic route and so on. But we went to study jobs that's not going to be around in 10 years' time. Like, it's, you know what I mean? Like, things haven't evolved. So that whole sort of thesis that degree is going to guarantee you, it doesn't, it's a lie. It's not real. So there's like this thing where people get out of it and they finish. And then there's a preset path that's been like that for like 20, 30 years. But that was 20, 30 years ago. The market has changed. Yeah. Businesses operate differently now. There's too much sort of fiscal pressure to you know, you can't employ everybody. But now you're sitting with a generation of smart, that's one part. But I guess educated people who don't have the confidence or the mindset to take that education and better themselves. It must be given somewhere else. You know? And I think it's not just medicine. Like I use medicine because
I can say accounting, for example. Because in accounting, one of the scratches is you see risk everywhere.
Yeah, when I see someone when I see CASA, then it's like you are bound by that CASA thing. And you have to subscribe to that things. Yeah. You know, so like in my life, I'm not an educated financial person. I'm not a financial advisor. Don't ask me nothing. But I'll structure you a deal. I'll build the commercials for you. I'll make a deal make sense. Yeah. My ex-partner actually told me, he's like, you've done more deals and at a higher level than most people that studied accounting working for 20, 30 years. Yeah. Just because of dealing with the stuff you need to deal with when you're doing these transactions. So it's a case of me, I've always had a heart for the doctor because I feel the only place a doctor is undervalued is in medicine. It's the weirdest thing ever. Only other doctors undervalue other doctors. And it's a systemic thing. Yeah. Right? If you walk in a community, people have this high regard for doctors, not realizing the reality of what's actually there. Like, there's no work for them. There's no jobs. Yeah. You know, how do they don't earn that much money, you know, that type of thing. So I think that's been a driving force for me because, and also like, I mean, I can't lie, like from an entrepreneurial point of view, I see value. So I see lots of value in doctors to create value for me. So I'm not an NGO. I don't pretend to be that. Like I'm a commercially orientated person. So yes, I will do things. My heart is in the right place to do it. But ultimately, both of us will benefit. Yes. Yeah. So because
all transactions should be that way.
Should be like it. And I think a lot of issues with healthcare is that people think it's like a social construct. But it's an economic construct. You know, in South Africa, like we've got something called the spending hierarchy in South Africa. Anywhere in the world, but it's called the spending hierarchy. So in South Africa, people spend on dope, number one, then gambling, then house rental, food, electricity, and healthcare is like sixth. So a lot of my sort of thinking is along the lines of how do I increase healthcare in the spending hierarchy. And to do that, you need to remove healthcare from itself and move it alongside the other things that people are spending on. So you need to take healthcare and make it a product.
Yeah.
And that's the biggest shift that must happen even at the doctors. Because if I ask a doctor, who's your customer? They don't even think about it. They say, they only know that a patient. That's it. Like to them, but it's a customer, right? And your customer can be anybody. It can be an organization. It can be a group. It can be another business. You know, the knowledge sits in your head and in your hands.
Yeah.
So a lot of my work is along the lines of building an empowered, I guess, community of doctors for the next gen of how healthcare is delivered. Because the old way don't work anymore, right? So like, I've got the Minister of Health on WhatsApp. So after we go live with certain things, with this specific thing, I messaged him. So I said, Doc, I'm working on relieving pressure on the state to employ doctors. And that's true, because if a doctor is independent and making their own income, they are less dependent on government for work. And government cannot employ all the doctors. Not possible.
Yeah.
Right? There is just not enough infrastructure to do that.
Yeah.
Because at the moment, like, of all the doctors in the country, only 20% of them work in the public sector and 80% of them work in the private sector. So the 20% in public, they're full-time employed. The 80% in private are a mixture of, you know, maybe they have their own practice or they're selling their time, locuming and stuff. The craziest thing is the number of patients. So 85% of patients are in public sector, where there's 20% of the doctors. And then 25% are in private sector, 80%. Where there's 80% of the doctors. Right? So that mismatch, you can't fix that by building hospitals. Like government cannot, that sort of inherent mathematical sort of, it's just at odds. It's not going to work. So the gap to fill is to say, how do I shift some of those doctors who are in private? They're not in private because they necessarily want to be. There's just no work for them.
Yeah.
But now they're in private with no options other than selling their time and starting their own practice, which is expensive. So now you have to come up with innovative ways for care to be delivered to the patients.
To the masses.
And that is like a fundamental thing for me, like coming up with solutions and systems and commercial models that allow that to work. So like now we're busy, by the end of the year, I'll have 300 doctors working in my model in this specific one. There's other stuff, but I'm just going to, for this specific thing. And they'll each have their own business using our tools, making their own money. Yeah. And we basically, from a commercial standpoint, yes, I own the model.
Yeah, the model, yeah.
So from a commercial point of view, like I take fees of each, right, using our systems and things. But we put the investment in to create it.
Correct. Yeah.
And we brought the partners together to start it. Yeah. So, but for me, the outcome is that if even if it's a one doctor standing at the end of it and be like, actually, you know what, no, I now know how to start, or where to start. You know, if I come up, because you'll never out innovate 300, 400, 500 individual people. Because they all have their own reality.
Yeah.
So they have a thing and then they see an opportunity there that I will never see, you'll never see. No health system will see it. But that doctor's living it. So if that doctor comes up with an innovative solution and they have the frameworks to do it, that's ultimately, it's like a flywheel. So it's like a flywheel effect. So every time you're going to create new pathways, new ways for things to be done that haven't been done before. So like I take a lot of lessons from, in a weird way, but from the Springboks. Like I love watching the Springboks, like, and the way Rassie sort of does things and innovates and stuff. And so for me, one of the players I really enjoy the most is Mani Libok. Like for me, he's the best fly-off in the country. And the reason I like him is because there's always been a way that a fly-off must play.
Yeah.
Right? And I think the ridicule he gets is something I can sort of relate to, because he doesn't fit the mold of what he used to be, but he fits the mold of what's coming.
Yeah.
So for me, like, I back that guy 1,000,000%. Like I would literally, like, no matter what, that guy, I back him.
So Similar to what Rassi is doing, though.
Right? And from a leadership point of view, why I like Rassi so much is because exactly that. He knows what he's working towards. And always in the short term, like for me, you have to think long term. So for me, like when you have pressure to think short term, you make horrible decisions. And in those short term decisions, right, you feel like it's the end of the world if you make this decision now, right? But if you think long term, if you sit back, like let's find yourself in a scenario one day, and you sit back and you think to yourself, in that scenario, had I thought long term, would my short term decision have changed? Yeah. And for the most part, it would, because that short term decision you're making is from how you feel now.
Yeah.
Right. So I've had this many times. Business is hard, guys. People want what you have. It's a war. You just have to praise. You pray. There's a song I play every morning. It's called "Mighty Name of Jesus." No weapon formed. You have to, because ultimately, when you step out into the sort of the unknown or it's not set. It's not. Yeah. Anything can happen, and why I like Mani so much is because despite everything, the Oak is just steps up. Yeah. Like he is the best at 9 out of the 10 things that make a fly off. Right? Yep. In the same sense, for me, as an entrepreneur or person that's building, I know there's stuff I'm not good at. I know it. And if you don't know it, you've got a problem. You need to know what you're good at and not good at. So I try to bring people around me to kind of make it, it work. And like I genuinely feel, from a doctor point of view, like my heart and my vision and my mission is to create an empowered doctor. Yeah. And that means bringing in, I actually told a group of them on Tuesday, I said to them, there's a group of 20 of them, spoke to them. And I said, like, you may think you know everything because you're a doctor, but I guarantee you the packer at ShopRite is going to teach you more about customer centricity than you as a doctor. Wow. So for me, like, a lot of my work is focused on bringing dignity back into healthcare. So, because that's missing, and bringing that customer centricity into it. And to do that, you need to kind of create a framing of, who's the customer in healthcare. Yeah, I think that's really a big part of.
And I also think it starts with small things. And I know, Rizan, you're gonna go cook there for a little bit, but I think for me, it's about, like you said, in your line, you're empowering the doctor. But I would want every individual to know that they are also empowering themselves. Yeah. Know that, for example, I'm an accountant, but my biggest customer is my employer.
Yes.
They're the one I spend the most time with.
Yeah, you do.
And if you start understanding that what skill you are delivering is essentially your service.
And the fact that and I'm respectfully now, like the fact that the commodity you just mentioned was time. Yeah. Which is already the problem. Like you shouldn't be selling your time. Mm-hmm. Right? So if you look at it like that, like if you have so many hours in the day. Yeah. So for you to say that is like, they are your biggest customer, yes. But look how expensive the currency is that you're selling. You are literally selling your time. And I think with the doctors now specifically, I'm trying to get that out. Not out so much, but I call it stacking. So I want to stack their channels that they can build a living off. I think that's more it. So but it is like, from a customer point of view, like, I'm with you. I had
Joe, before you, I just want to let my co-host have his moment, because you're gonna go out here and then he's not gonna be able to say anything. No. Because I might remember I have a Milan rich best friend that I need to keep.
I was actually gonna say that we are in that space with this podcast right now where unfortunately we're not gonna have enough time. And
that's okay.
It is actually, because I feel like you've come here and you've given us the initial impression that like and yet there's so much to learn from you. Yeah. There's so much to hear from you. And I think I'm definitely looking forward to, like you said, you're writing a book called Tunnel Vision.
I'm trying
To.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
excited. I'm excited to see where like your different business ventures, different ideas go. Because we had a thing prepared. And you brought in Manila box.
It's because we started with the beards, man.
It was so good. JP is gonna give us the game from the bowl, and so after that, I will ask my question.
Okay, cool. So there is a game that you like to play on the show.
Yeah.
It's a game called a series of hypothetical questions, and the game is called Say Now.
Say man, okay.
Yeah.
This sounds like a very Mark Lottering thing.
So Say Now. Every person had to take a global humanity exam at the age of 18. What should be on it?
Wow.
Guys, this is like Miss Essay question.
Global humanity exam.
Yo.
Like just can I just throw this in? So I learned recently that in Malaysia or Indonesia, one of the two countries, you have to take a mandatory exam before you get married. Which I like, man.
Okay.
I like the idea of like
Is it about
going
your
to
partner?
going to marriage classes, man, and stuff like that. And then you have to take like if you fail it, you can't get married. I feel like there needs to be something like that for parenthood.
Wow.
Especially in our country.
Yo.
I feel like before you become a parent, you must go to class.
Yeah.
And then you must write a mandatory exam. And if you
Yo. Sheesh. Yeah, but you know our stats.
Yeah. I was gonna say
Standard deviation.
You
can't judge. It's a tough one, but I think I guess I'm with you in principle.
Yeah.
But I mean, how many don't
There's
know
no ecosystem for that, bro.
He wants to introduce mandatory.
The planning is most. We must first need to get the planning right.
contraceptive is
We need to get the planning right.
Zara wants to create, you must get a license to stop using it.
I mean, there's 2 million.
Like genuinely.
There's 2 million pregnancies a year in the country.
No, but like genuinely.
Are we gonna make money off it? I mean, there's 2 million pregnancies. That's a lot.
What was the question?
You can say about that.
Yeah. Every person had to take a global humanity exam at the age of 18.
Yeah.
What should it be on?
Okay.
Wow.
I think it's just, for me, it's respect. Respect one another, and in any shape or form, you're not living that person's life. So I think just respect would be what I would include in the exam.
Respect is huge.
Sure. No, I think I guess it would be an element of global.
Yeah, global.
I mean, I'm not the best at it, but I think there should be an element of history in there. Like, I think like histories of the different, because that's a big thing.
Yeah.
Like, I've got like foreign partners and stuff, and they don't understand what's clapping.
Yeah.
And it's challenging because it makes it very difficult even to do business, because you see life in a certain way, and you know you've been through things.
Yeah.
And you never fully on the same page. So I don't know. I would, me personally, would want to learn more. So if I was forced to, I would rather have it like that. Like, force me to learn about.
So like in this sort of like short moment, I was thinking about the different things about like what does humanity actually struggle with, like racism. Like that's a big one. I mean, essentially tribalism, because racism is so misdefined at this point in time. That I thought, okay, cool. What should be in the exam? Decolonization. And because I feel like that's kind of where that like otherness was sort of weaponized in pursuit of success, whereas otherness needs to be reframed. Because
Superpower.
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no,
I like that,
beautiful.
yeah.
It's beautiful.
No, that is beautiful. Yeah, wow.
We're gonna test your reading abilities.
You're
I'm sorry.
hectic.
I'm so sorry.
Okay. Say me now, your body gave you daily health notifications, like a smartphone, it does do that, by the way. It actually does. Your body does do it. You just don't call symptoms and signs. But okay.
Nah, he's rude. That's not the spirit of the game.
Oh, sorry.
That's actually not the spirit. We're gonna start over.
The spirit of rugby.
The views expressed is getting a redo. So I like to play a game for fun. A series of hypotheticals.
So I didn't mean it like that. What would you, okay, if your body to give you those health notifications like a smartphone, what would you always say most often? Okay, one of you guys can go, I'll think about it. I don't know.
Mine would just be get up. I spend too much time sitting on my buttocks while working. And you're right, the smartphone does do that.
Yeah.
But then you just take it off. So yeah, mine would be get up and move.
Get up and move. I actually bought a so I was doing, sorry it's random now, but I was doing a bodybuilding prepping for a bodybuilding show last year, and I was doing powerlifting and stuff. And was upward, like pushing hard, and then I got injured, I got sick. Actually had a stroke last year. Like a mini stroke from stress and stuff. So to health stuff.
Yeah.
My blood pressure was high and stuff. And so I got injured in the beginning of the year, I got a hernia. So I've been out of gym for like 6 months. It was the longest I've ever been out of gym. So I gained like 20 kilos. And you're talking about getting up, bro. Like I couldn't gym. I was not allowed to. I ended up buying myself like a little walker thing, like just a little stepper thing. And I put one in my room and in my study. So I'm like forcing myself
to walk in bed
because I'm getting back to gym in August, but for now, like, and I dropped 12 kilos in like 3 weeks since getting kind of back into things. So I just am thinking now, you're saying about getting up. It's like, it is the most important thing to do. It's just to move. Yeah. You don't have to gym. You don't have to.
It's to move.
Yeah.
That's
what
what
would
I would
yours
say.
be?
So that's so interesting. My biggest health problems are mental. Which is such a self-tell. As alles alright, but so I think what would be cool is if the notification could tell me this is true or this is a lie told by anxiety. That would be cool. That would be cool.
Yeah.
And like, warning. Hey, this information is false.
Yeah. Would be nice. That would be nice.
You're only sick.
Because the mind is like that. When your mental health is like on edge, you genuinely don't know what's actually real and what's not.
Yep.
Because I used to struggle with like better now. But yeah, I used to struggle a lot with mental health. Mine would probably be if my body could give me a notification.
I feel like you've answered this for both of us twice.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
No, it's good. It's good. So we will be doing.
No, I'm thinking now. I actually am thinking. Actually, like if it was
he's genuinely ruminating there. I can see it.
I don't know. I actually don't know.
The pendulum is.
No, but the stuff I can't say on the pod.
Okay. So, what did you like to end
sample cheap?
Yo.
I don't know what you guys are thinking about. Clearly.
Please. You know what it is, man. I'm too comfortable with JP 2.0. I'm too comfortable.
It's more like 5.0.
I don't know what you guys are thinking about.
The way we like to end off the show is
we're ending now.
Two things. Unfortunately.
How can you guys go on more?
Two things. The first thing is because you now need to get more out there, where can people find you? How can people follow the journey? Anything that you'd like people to know about? You can ask a question after.
No. I was not going to ask a question.
LinkedIn.
I was going to say, because I know you are a private person. Flip it. I think tell the audience or the viewers what do you think they should be looking out for?
About me or themselves?
No.
Yo.
You know what I'm saying? Like a blanket, like fortune teller. You know what I'm saying? Like just like Nostradamus. That's it out. So that's coming into my question also.
I see. Okay.
That is my question also. Because again, you don't want people to follow you.
Yeah.
You want businesses to work with you.
Yeah, I'm not a. My wife is more the social stuff.
You know
I'm
what saying?
not
So
very much
you
on
don't,
the.
You don't have to do that. But
No, I think. Yeah.
and then
Okay.
while you're ruminating on that one, the second thing is provide a message to your younger self. So look back and look forward.
Guys, you saw lit. This is Miss SA level stuff. What? The CEO just resigned now. Miss SA.
This is your opportunity to reclaim it, boy.
Boxian. That's so funny. We have actually so much. Anyway.
You was it, boy, by the way.
Brilliant. I can see.
I wasn't.
I can see. I'm joking.
You played rugby. You played rugby. I didn't.
I can see.
You know what I'm saying?
Continue.
Okay, I think to look out for. I don't know. Like, I think there's a couple of shifts happening. Like in the sort of just in general, I think we're shifting towards a economy where, and people are going to be selling not themselves like OnlyFans, but I mean their services, their IP, their knowledge. I think there's the creator economy was creator economy in a version thereof, which was like towards the graphic side of things. But I think the shift that's happening is there's a shift towards the professional and the individual sort of selling their services and their IP and their knowledge at a platform level. So that's one thing I think to look out for. I think going forward over the next few years. I hate talking about AI. I think it's it's saturated and everyone talks about it. But my suggestion, my view is just that it will never replace people. But I think people who don't use it are probably going to be replaced by people who do use it. I think that's definitely, and I mean it's anybody. I mean you could, if you learn how to use it. I mean you can really. What else? There's something interesting I'm working on. A car rental platform like Airbnb for your homes, but for your car. Okay. So
it's really get this man in the room.
It's a platform where it's a luxury car thing, but I mean if you have your own car, you set your own prices. We got the insurance right. And it's a means, I think, with all the economic pressure, and if you look at the middle, there's a middle group of people, especially young professionals, they've bought things that they can't really afford. So they sit with the car and stuff or whatever it is, and it's pressure. It's putting pressure on them. So what we tried to come up with is a model where, and it was also towards empowering of doctors actually, and professionals, where you can, put the car on the platform. We've managed to get the insurance right, which was the biggest part of it.
That is a bigger.
Yeah. Platform's called Car Share Nova. It's actually very cool. This is, and then you can set your prices, and you can almost you can promote it yourself. So in the same way with the doctors and things, I've tried to equip them to build their own brands. Not me doing it for them. It's theirs. They must do it, and it's to empower them. Same with this platform. And then we also, interestingly, with that, and I think in everything, I'm trying to just bring certain experiences to people that previously was only for certain people. So even things like, if you think about it, things like access to, I don't like the word bodyguard, but a protector, someone that. So if you were able to access one through a platform as part of, maybe you book a vehicle with a protection officer, it allows you as a father or something like that to have access to it instead of to have your own is expensive. Like it's crazy. But the idea is just that we're trying to expose more people to a certain level of service or thing that was reserved for thing, and then with the doctors and so on, that's really a big focus of mine. But again, like from accessibility point of view, like I'm reachable on LinkedIn. That's about it. I don't have any social media at all. And I think it's by design. I don't I think I was telling you guys earlier about the Forbes thing. Like, it's not important to me. Like,
so then last thing, the message to your younger self, any age, no specific space and time.
Sure. I think if I had to go back to tell myself something right now, it would be that I would literally just tell myself, like, well done for not listening to everybody. Like, if you know what I mean, like not letting people say that it can't be done a certain way, and just kind of sticking to it and sticking to my guns and knowing that why I'm doing what I'm doing is transformative. It's supposed to be transformative. It's not, things can't stay the same way forever. So I think that's probably what I would tell myself if I had to go back. Yeah.
Bad.
I'm just look, when Mark told me this was like the best podcast he's ever been on, I was like, okay, Mr. Lottering, I get you now. It was amazing. It was amazing. It was incredible. Like, I mean, really cool. And I think Mark's been on it how many? I'm sure. Like, he's been, he's the
playing with fire with this one. So we're trying to, I blanketly dictatorship try to introduce something where I give the guest an opportunity to ask
our
us
camera's
a
not
question.
dying there?
Are
you sure?
And JP doesn't like it.
Are you sure?
That's why he's going off already.
Sure
and then we can pick it up.
Or I can ask you guys anything.
Yeah, it's like, go crazy.
Like, why are there so many parallels?
Vision pass.
Sorry. No.
Oh my
I think it's probably for both of you guys. Like, what's your guys' sort of goal with this and vision with this podcast? Like, what do you guys want?
I like it.
So I think my vision is very broad, but I would like to start changing the way we think about things. So my goal is not necessarily a commercial one, but it's more about presenting an idea in a way that you haven't seen it before. And I think it's important that that idea comes from someone that looks and sounds like us.
Like us, yeah.
Because sometimes someone can hear the message, but because it's said from a certain person, they just don't take it. And I think for me, it's important to create that environment.
I like that.
Where we share that.
And also the stuff that gets, the types of podcasts and the things that get spoken about in general at the moment. I mean, it's culture, I get it. Like, but it's a certain version or a certain additive that gets put out, and obviously I respect it. It is definitely part of, but there's also another version of it or another reality that doesn't really ever get. I mean, there's so many colored leaders. I think people of color that are exceptional. But
it's not that we want to like dive or isolate this group of people. It's just the idea that we don't have enough spaces that speak about our stories, and we have to keep diving down this hill because there's so many stories we have to unpack.
And it might not always get the viewership like some of the others.
That's
for sure.
That's a commercial discussion that I've come to.
No, I get you. No, but I'm with you. But it's awesome. I think.
Rizan, do you want to answer that question?
No. There's so many things that's happening in my brain right now. Number one, I was like, 2 things. Because I know I haven't said that in a few
things. I
haven't said it in insane. So the one vision mission is very playful, and they don't know what I'm about to say, but I'm just gonna say it. So that's the cool thing, is that we are in a way on a journey to just uncover the supercolors.
Am I wrong? Am I wrong? No.
You know what I'm saying? And just define what that means, because it's just like we've just been blessed. Yeah. We've just been blessed. There's just these people of color that are just out here. And
was I actually blessed?
We're just uncovering, right? But
by choice.
but in reality, my dream or my vision for the podcast is to what we are able to capture here, which is like a sort of familial cousins.
It does feel like
brother, like it's just like we're just chilling. We want to be able to just expand that to more people, more voices, and to let it be more than just colored, but let it be country, let it be community. And that is gonna be a bit of a bigger challenge, like opening up to people that look more like melanin
strong,
melanin rich.
You know what I'm saying? But I mean, in order to achieve this, we need you guys to comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell if you want to see more chat. It's been a pleasure, JP Lyle, and we are out.
Peace.
Cheers.